These small experiences feel confusing because people often expect balance to recover at the exact same speed as pain and strength. But balance depends on a complex mix of sensation, coordination, reactive control, vision, inner ear input, strength, confidence, and the ability to shift weight quickly. Are you ready to get back to what you love after knee replacement? The Total Knee Success podcast is your trusted guide with practical tips, evidence-based strategies, and no fluff. It's not personal medical advice, just solid education to help you manage pain, regain mobility, and get back to living the life you love. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Total Knee Success podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we're diving into something that many people experience even months after knee replacement. You feel stronger, you're moving more freely, you're returning to routines that used to feel difficult. But at the same time, there are moments when you hesitate on a turn, feel unsure when the ground changes underneath you, or sense that a small shift in weight requires more attention than it should. These subtle moments of wobbliness or cautiousness often raise the same question: why do I still feel unsteady? Today we're going to answer that question by looking closely at two major balance assessments that help explain exactly what's happening: the Berg Balance Scale and the Mini-BESTest. Before we explore these tests themselves, I want to ground this in a familiar story. Imagine someone we'll call Linda. She's in her late 60s, about 6 months out from her knee replacement, and increasingly pleased with how far she has come. Her pain is dramatically lower than it was before surgery. She's walking on her own without hesitation, and she's back to many of the activities she loves. But she's also noticing moments that don't make sense to her. When she turns quickly in the kitchen, she feels an extra second of hesitation. When she walks with her husband at a brisk pace, she remains comfortable for most of the walk, but senses a slight wobble when she changes direction. Nothing severe, nothing she would call a loss of balance, just a sense that something about her movement still needs time. These small experiences feel confusing because people often expect balance to recover at the exact same speed as pain and strength. But balance depends on a complex mix of sensation, coordination, reactive control, vision, inner ear input, strength, confidence, and the ability to shift weight quickly. And these systems don't always return at the same pace, and often the subtle moments of hesitation you feel are linked to balance components that are still recalibrating. That is where therapists turn to assessments like the Berg Balance Scale and the Mini-BESTest. These tools do not label you. They simply help describe what your balance system is doing at this moment and how your therapist can help you build confidence and steadiness. Let's begin with the Berg Balance Scale because it's one of the most widely used balance tests among physical therapists across the world. Therapists have used it for decades, and it is supported by strong research showing excellent reliability. The Berg explores balance by evaluating 14 tasks that mirror movements people encounter in daily life. The Berg begins by observing how smoothly and confidently you rise from a chair without using your hands, and then how steadily you can stand without support. It examines whether you can sit without using your hands and whether your trunk stays upright without leaning. It looks at how smoothly you lower yourself back into a chair and how safely you transfer between two stable surfaces. It evaluates your steadiness when standing with your eyes open and then closed, and then again when your feet are placed close together. These tasks show how your balance responds when the base of support narrows or when your vision is removed. Then you reach forward as though grabbing something just out of reach, and also bend down to pick an item from the floor, mimicking everyday chores. It examines how well you turn to look behind you over each shoulder and how confidently you turn in a full circle. It evaluates how you manage a narrow tandem stance by placing one foot directly in front of the other, and then finishes by observing whether you can stand on one leg long enough to reveal what your single leg balance looks like. Every one of these tasks reveals something unique about your balance system, highlighting how well you control your body in quiet standing positions, how you transition between movements, and how you manage small shifts in weight. And that's why the Berg has been such a trusted tool for so many years. it provides a broad, foundational picture of balance control. It's reliable, familiar, and easy to understand. Many therapists continue to use it because it has decades of research behind it, and because patients can relate to the tasks. But when we look specifically at individuals who have undergone total knee replacement, something important emerges. The Berg is excellent at measuring static balance, the kind of balance you use when you're standing still, reaching forward, or maintaining a steady posture. But it's not always as sensitive to the dynamic balance demands that people commonly struggle with after a knee replacement. Those demands include reacting when the ground changes, turning quickly, stepping to recover balance, navigating uneven surfaces, or adjusting confidently during movement. These are the exact moments when people like Linda feel just a little off, and the Berg does not always pick up these nuances. A study by Chan and colleagues compared several balance assessments, including the BESTest family and the Berg, specifically in individuals after knee replacement. They found that the Berg was the least responsive to changes in balance after total knee arthroplasty. It often failed to detect improvements that patients felt in their walking and daily movement, and it did not correlate strongly with improvements in dynamic gait. In contrast, the Mini-BESTest and the full BESTest were far more sensitive to the specific balance challenges people experience after knee replacement. And this doesn't mean the Berg is wrong or outdated. It simply means that after knee replacement, people often need a deeper look into the parts of balance that influence real-world confidence. And that's where the Mini-BESTest shines. It examines balance in a way that reflects the complexity of moving through real environments. Instead of focusing primarily on quiet stand tasks, it evaluates 4 major balance systems. The first is anticipatory control, your ability to prepare your body for an upcoming movement. The Mini-BESTest observes how you rise from a chair without using your hands, how well you lift your heels to stand tall on your toes, and how confidently you balance on one leg. These tasks reflect how your body prepares for and organizes movement before it occurs. The second system is reactive control, the automatic responses you use when something unexpected happens. The therapist gives a small controlled nudge in different directions so they can see whether your body reacts quickly and effectively with a step to regain balance. This helps reveal whether your body can handle small surprises, like an unstable patch of grass or a slippery spot on the floor. The third system is sensory orientation, how your body uses visual, somatosensory, and vestibular information to remain balanced. This test examines this by observing how well you stand on a firm surface and softer surfaces with your eyes open and then closed. These conditions reveal whether your balance depends too heavily on one sensory system or whether you can adapt when the environment changes. And the fourth system is dynamic gait, the combination of balance and movement. Here, the Mini-BESTest examines how you walk at different speeds, how you handle walking when turning your head to talk or look around, how confidently you pivot to change direction, and how well you step over small obstacles. And these tasks reflect the real-world balance demands of turning in the kitchen, navigating crowded aisles, stepping onto a curve, or adjusting when someone calls your name from behind. This combination of anticipatory control, reactive stepping, sensory integration, and dynamic gait makes the Mini-BESTest one of the most valuable tools for understanding balance after knee replacement. It reveals not only whether you feel steady when standing still, but how your balance behaves when life gets busy, fast, or unpredictable. This is why the Mini-BESTest and the BESTest family consistently outperform the Berg in research specifically involving total knee replacement. They capture the exact balance systems that influence how confident you feel in everyday movement. When Linda completes the Berg and the Mini-BESTest, her therapist can see the full picture. Her Berg score shows that her static balance, the quiet, steady positions, is strong. But her Mini-BESTest reveals that her dynamic balance, particularly during quick turns or when sensory information changes, still needs time. This aligns with the movements she feels uncertain at home. Her therapist can then tailor her exercises to target those specific systems by practicing turn-and-go movements, working on stepping reactions, improving narrow base control, or strengthening single leg stability. Orange and colleagues showed that even when pain improves reliably after knee replacement, functional limitations involving gait and dynamic balance often persist. Minnick and Kappen demonstrated wide variability in outcomes, even with guideline-driven care. Na and colleagues showed that comorbidities such as diabetes influence balance and functional gains. Duong found that lack of adherence to walking goals influences mobility outcomes. And Granicher showed that individuals who complete prehab often maintain advantages in functional performance. Bricca confirmed that exercise is not only safe for a replaced knee, but essential for building long-term stability. When we bring this together, the message becomes clear. Feeling unsteady after knee replacement, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It simply means your balance systems are still recalibrating. The Berg Balance Scale shows how steady you are in quiet positions, while the Mini-BESTest shows how steady you are when life gets dynamic, which is kind of like real life. Together, they help therapists understand whether your wobbliness comes from anticipatory control, reactive stepping, sensory reliance, or dynamic gait, and each of those systems can improve with targeted practice. As you continue building strength and steadiness, I want to leave you with something simple and reassuring. Balance returns layer by layer, and improvement doesn't always feel dramatic, but it is happening. You're building strength and control in ways that matter, even on days when progress doesn't feel so fast. You can keep going. Confidence grows with repetition, and every step you take is helping your body relearn how to move with ease and assurance. If you'd like more resources or want to explore this topic further, you can visit totalkneesuccess.com. In our next episode, we'll explore the timed up and go and the dynamic gait index. These tools help reveal how functional mobility and obstacle negotiation can help your walking confidence. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Discover more at totalkneesuccess.com, and be sure to subscribe and share, because every step forward takes you closer to living the life you love.